Now, here's where we start to get to the connection with cardiovascular disease. There's a thing called zonulin. Zonulin is what's called a preprotein or proprotein. It's the fully expressed protein, the fully expressed amino acid chain. Part of that gets cut off, and then it becomes a thing called haptoglobin. Haptoglobin is what cleans up hemoglobin. Now, why would you need to clean up hemoglobin? Think about it. Your typical red blood cell contains basically hemoglobin. That typical red blood cell lasts about 90 days, and then it bursts. When it bursts, it spills that hemoglobin in the arteries and veins in the vascular system. Remember, hemoglobin carries iron, which is expressly there to carry oxygen. In other words, it's oxidized. Remember, the other word for oxidation is inflammation. So if we can't clean up that hemoglobin very well, then we have an increased oxidation state with that hemoglobin that's been spilled and lying around. I'm going to go one step deeper into a bunny hole on this. There was one lab that for a long time that offered haptoglobin genetic studies outside of the academic environment. It was called My Genetics. They've changed now, and it's actually harder to get that through them. But when I was working with them, they were offering haptoglobin 2, which we'll be talking about. This variation that doesn't pick up hemoglobin very well and therefore leaves the body, the cardiovascular system, in a more oxidized state. A warning, we're going to go into a politically charged item for a second. I won't get that politically charged. I'll just make an observation. So I was in a room one day with David Vigorist, who's a world-class geneticist lab scientist who developed this test for My Genetics. I was also in there with Jimmy, who ran the labs for us. And we were talking about this. I was saying, so if you go back, how did haptoglobin 2 get formed? And he said, well, you know this, Ford. It appears to have been about 20 generations back, probably in the northern part of the Indian subcontinent. I said, yes, you're right. I knew this. I just wanted to hear you say that, David, because I've got my own opinions of what may have happened. We were talking about the prevalence of HAP2. The allele prevalence is 50%. And do a fact check on me. We can debate exactly how prevalent it is. But to go from a mutation 20 generations back to that kind of allelic prevalence, there has to have been something causing major pressure to go in that direction. And David's statement was, yeah, of course, there's been major pressure associated with malaria. It's like the thalassemias, it's like sickle cell disease. Anything that causes more oxidation within the cardiovascular system also creates protection from malaria. So the point there is there's a lot of emotion and debate over evolution and human evolution. Sometimes humans like to fight over things that they don't really understand. And when you begin to understand it a lot better, it's like the fight may disappear. Now let's get back to the script. Zonulin is one of the few known physiological mediators of paracellular intestinal permeability. In other words, to say this in a maybe easier way, zonulin unlocks the tight junctions which protect the intestinal wall. There are things called tight junctions. When zonulin connects to those tight junctions open up. Zonulin is upregulated in celiac disease and type 1 diabetes. Zonulin is a pre-haptoglobin 2 or pre-HP2. Haptoglobin is a hemoglobin binding protein with immunomodulatory properties. So zonulin is induced by gliadin. What is gliadin? Glutens and gliadins again. So we just connected a whole lot of dots. Hopefully, if you didn't catch on all those dots, we can help over the next content.